Okay, what are we looking at today? Well, this is a Zelkova. We might have seen it once before, but well, today's chapter is actually not a very happy one. Just recently, one of my old-time customers, and because we've known each other a very long time, we have become good friends. Well, he passed away. And why am I showing you this? Well, you see this container? This is metal. It might be cast iron. Well, anyway, oh gosh, more than 10 years ago, maybe more like 15 years ago, my friend Harold, the one that passed away, he found this somewhere, and he bought two, and he gave me one here. So this is the planting I did. Well, you know, when you're given a gift, you have to return. So in his container, I put in him another tree. I can't remember exactly what I did. I might have been the same thing. The reason for the Zelkova, they're very hardy. And what I was thinking was that this pot, being metal, would heat up. So I selected the Zelkova, and it's been really happy in there. So what I'm going to do now is to go ahead and prune it. And you know, I think we talked about my uncle Yutaka or Taka, and how I think about him when I'm working on it. And I think this is going to become something like that. I think I've known Harold 15, 20, maybe even longer than that. And you know, we had a lot of discussion about this and that. And you just get to know people. And so when they pass, it's kind of a very sad situation. As sad as losing a friend, well, actually, well, he was kind of on the older side. He was, I think, in his late 80s. But what was more important is in the last, oh gosh, half a decade or maybe even longer, maybe a decade, he's always had this health problem. And so it's like, okay, what happened this time? So if I don't see him for a few months, then when he comes back, he tells me what the situation was and then why he wasn't here. Well, there was maybe more than a half year of absence. I haven't seen him, and I was beginning to wonder, you know, I wonder what happened to him. What happened was he had a major health scare, and he was in hospice. Well, there, the doctors told him, you're going to be dying. So he got rid of all his bonsai collection. He gave it to friends and was prepared. Well, Harold's been really a tough guy, and he's talked about a number of different things that have happened to him over the years. Well, instead of dying, he came back. So now he's gotten rid of all his bonsai, so he wants to start over again. That's when I saw him again. And so it's been about a half a year since his near-death experience. Actually, his latest near-death experience, because I think over the years we've had these close calls where maybe a weaker person might have passed, but he kept coming back. Unfortunately, I think his 9 lives were used up, and he had passed away recently. Well, luckily, I met the neighbor who came by to give me the bad news. But evidently he was quietly contemplating on his chair, and then he passed without much suffering. So I guess that's a good thing. But anyway, so I'm starting to work on these. And each time that I work on these, I start to think about what we had, long-term friendship. Well, he was slightly on the gruffy side, but hey, we got along fine. And and it's really hard when you've known a person so long, and then you won't see him again, right? But at least I do have something that I will remember him by. Now, one of these days this will get sold, but my memory still will be there. See this aluminum pole? It expands to double the height. Well, Harold, before he retired, he was a painter. So he had this really long pole. And what I have done in the past is to put a camera on top. This was before the drone, so that I could get this sort of the helicopter high shot. Anyway, so I have this memory of him giving me this big long pole. I don't think they were even readily available to us commoners, but anyway, he had it, so he gave that to me too. So anyway, another memory of my friend here. Harold, he worked on cars. Well, he worked on classical and antique cars. He'd get them stripped down to nothing and rebuild from scratch. And I've seen a few of his, and others I've seen in his photos. But one of the things that he brought me just before he passed, he could do all kinds of things with his hands. So anyway, this is what he gave me. I think about a week before he passed. He was into these antique toys, and he fixes it and paints it like that. So anyway, so I have memories of my friend Harold from the things he's given me. So we have the pot, we have this antique toy, I guess, and then we have the pole. Now I have a drone, but me and my drone, I got it stuck in the tree the first time. So I'm thinking of going back to using this pole and putting my small video camera up on top and basically get the same kind of pictures. Anyway, so that's my little sad story today about my longtime friend Harold, and now he is in a different place. So this is my sad story about my friendship with Harold and his passing. But I always kidded with him that he sure had multiple lives, because he comes so close to dying so many times, it started to become a standing joke. You dodged the bullet again is kind of what we say to each other. So anyway, I don't know where he ended up, but hopefully Harold is having a fun time, probably working on cars, and maybe if he can, he'd be working on some of the bonsai. So anyway, this is Harold saying goodbye. I have a lot of good times here, but occasionally we end up with losing a friend. a dear friend from long time ago. Anyway, we'll see you again real soon, and hopefully in a happier chapter. But I thought it's important because we all die, and so much of the positive part I'm going to remember, and he left me enough interesting things to never forget. So anyway, I was putting the Zelkova, but you could see my heart was not really into it like we normally would. But I think you understand the reason for it. So hopefully all of you, please stay healthy and live long.